Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I would like to welcome you today to our virtual tour and introduction to our new Construction Skills Centre based in Bicester. I'm joined today by Mark French, who's the head of the Bicester Construction Skills Centre. I'm going to start off with a brief presentation and then we are going to move into our virtual tour with Mark sort of talking us through the various bits and pieces of the centre. Finally, we'll have a little bit of a chance for questions at the end. So what is the point of the Construction Skills Centre? Why have we built it here? Why are we doing it? So it is a unique training centre that enables learners of all ages, backgrounds and previous experience to become confident and competent professionals in their chosen industry. We're going to be predominantly focusing on apprentices, pre-apprenticeship programs such as traineeships, professional accreditations, retraining certifications in the areas listed below. So plumbing, gas, carpentry and joinery, electrical, property maintenance, which some of you might have known once upon a time as multi-trades, and then, as I said, those professional certifications and training. So this presentation will be a little bit of a whistle-stop tour, but we will make the slides available afterwards because some of them have quite a lot of detail that you might find useful. So why have we invested in the centre? We know that there's a massive skill shortage in the construction industry. We've already got a construction centre at our Witney campus, and that is fit to bursting. We've literally run out of space there. We're having to convert other classrooms into workshops to accommodate all the students. So we know that there's demand both from the sector, but also from young people wanting to train up in the construction trade. It's a massive growth area for Oxfordshire. Any of you that live locally will know the challenge of finding affordable housing in the local area. So the local government are on a big push to build more houses, and if you're going to build more houses, you need more contractors and builders and people that can do that work. As I said, it fits along our Witney Construction Centre that exists already, and will also complement a new Green Construction Skills Centre opening in Abingdon in March 2022. And our main purpose is to promote the development of apprenticeships in the local area and promote continuous professional development for those that already work in the industry. Just to give you a little bit of a flavour, this is a artist's impression of what the Construction Skills Centre in Abingdon is going to look like. And it's called the Green Construction Skills Centre, not because we're going to paint it green, but because it will focus on sustainable, renewable energy. So it uses a lot of same skills within those trades, actually, carpentry, plumbing. It's a similar kind of skills that the apprentices need to learn, but it's having that awareness of what the renewable energy sources are, what the renewable building techniques are, and making houses that are environmentally friendly. So yeah, watch this space for March 2022. A big part of what we've been doing at the centre so far is developing partnerships, really important strategic partnerships for us that will help make this a really, really successful centre. So we just wanted to sort of let you know some of the people that we've been in touch with already. So Screwfix have done a lot of work with giving us some great deals on supplies and all of the tools that we need to fill the centre and what the students will need to use to build and to practice their trades. We're in conversation with Morgan Sindall about some construction pre-apprenticeship traineeship programs. So they're going to offer some work experience opportunities on some of their sites around Oxfordshire. And they're also going to be involved in delivering some of the kind of college-based elements of the training as well. Oxlep, obviously, we wouldn't have been able to build this without the local enterprise partnership. They've contributed a massive amount of money and support. And when the current situation allows, we will be having a proper launch opening of the centre, and hopefully we can bring you all in and let you have a proper look in real life. Worcester Bosch Group, we have partnered with, and they have supplied us with a huge amount of and variety of boilers. Not being someone who works in the trades myself, I hadn't appreciated quite how many different types of boilers there were. And the students need to be able to access and train and use all of them in order to sort of practice their skills. So we've got a partnership, an arrangement with Worcester, so they're going to sponsor our centre, and they'll also be bringing in their people to show them how their new kit works, to do upskill training, And so, yeah, a real great partnership with Worcester. And then Axminster have given us some great support with the tools and machinery for our wood shop, or the mill, as it's properly called. So thank you to them as well, and we hope to continue to be able to work closely with them. So what will the difference be with this centre? What will be the point of it? So we'll be providing skills training of the very highest quality. So the centre doesn't have a capacity for hundreds and hundreds of students. At most, we might have 150 to 200 students in a week at any one time. So we're not going to have thousands of students coming through a year. So it really is focusing on quality over quantity. Obviously, you'll get a chance to see these in a little bit, but we've got first-class purpose-built facilities. This has been conceived from the very start to be a really great space that students can use. As I mentioned on the previous slide, that genuine partnership working with employers. So we hope that we'll be able to give something back to people as well as get something out of their students coming here. And we're looking to recruit and train ambitious, confident and highly competent apprentices. So any of you that have had apprentices before or worked with apprenticeships, me and Mark always say, or we would think, probably because we work with apprenticeships, that it's more difficult than doing a full-time course at college. It's more difficult than holding down a full-time job. You're trying to do college and work all at the same time. So it is a really tough gig, and we need really competent and capable apprentices to cope with that. We'll be delivering flexible options for trade certifications. So we appreciate that sometimes it's difficult to take time out of your day, or if you're self-employed, it means you have to say no to a job in order to come and train. So we'll be offering courses and stuff that happen in the evenings and at weekends, so that when people do need to do those kind of vital updates and refresher bits of training, they can fit that in around their working lives as well. And we've got on board some really high caliber teachers and assessors with extensive industry experience. So it's people that have been there and done it, and got the t-shirt. Although we haven't printed any Bicester t-shirts yet, have we? So yeah. They haven't got a literal t-shirt. So on to the details, some of the apprenticeships we'll be offering. Firstly, starting with plumbing and gas. Sorry, apologies, this is a bit of a busy slide, but I just wanted to give as much detail as possible for when we share the information afterwards. So we have two options, both advanced apprenticeships at level 3. One, the plumbing and domestic heating technician, which is a big proper 4-year plumbing apprenticeship. Probably combines most of what was in the old level 2 and level 3 apprenticeship frameworks. So any of you that were thinking, well, hang on a sec, I used to do a 2-year level 2 and a 2-year level 3, that's all kind of been smudged into one big program now. The funding band for that, so the government will contribute, depending on the size of your company, your organisation, £21,000 towards that funding. In the event that you need to make a contribution as an employer, and again, we can discuss your specific requirements on that front, there'll be a £1,050 contribution towards the cost of that programme. That'll be all you have to pay. We plan to deliver on a day release model. Because we're not linked to one of the main college campuses, it won't necessarily always fit in with a sort of normal academic term time. So we may end up being able to be a little bit more flexible, a little bit linked to sort of term start and end dates. But we still think that there's a great deal of value in that chance of coming into college to learn something, and then being able to go back that same week to work and put those skills into practice, and use the stuff that you've learned that week. As with all the apprenticeships now, English and maths will be something that we'll have to think about. So we will be looking for either people to come in with the levels of English and maths that they need already, or that they'll have the ability to achieve that as part of the apprenticeship. That will need a little bit more time in college to do those if needed. But we'll be really clear up front, if you're apprentice or if you are an apprentice, you will need to do that as part of your programme. The plumbing and domestic heating technician has a couple of formal qualification certifications as part of it. So there is actually the proper level 3 plumbing and domestic heating diploma in there, that you get your gas safe registration at the end, and you'll also undertake your unvented hot water as well as part of that programme. So for anyone who's not in the trades listening, and who might be interested to know the difference between plumbing and gas. So plumbing and domestic heating technicians will do a little bit of gas as well. So they will install and commission and service boilers, but they'll also, plumb in your kitchen. They'll also do your bathroom and fit all of that stuff and lay all the water pipes as well. Gas engineering operatives will only do work relating to installation, maintenance and commissioning of boilers and servicing. So that's a slightly shorter programme, 18 months in total. Again, funded at £22,000 by the government, so a £1,100 contribution for that one. And day release, English and Maths, and again, you get your gas safe registration as part of that programme as well. I did say I wasn't going to talk through all the detail on the slide for that one, but I have, so there we go. Sorry. I will skip through some of these because otherwise you'll all drop off to sleep. Carpentry, so we'll do level 2 and level 3 carpentry. The vast majority of people will get to level 2, and that's what you need to be able to work capably, competently and safely on site. So that's a roughly 2-year program, just slightly under. Again, on a day release program, and then we will be offering both the site and architectural joinery, or you might know it as bench joinery. So both pathways will be available for those level 2 apprenticeships. And the level 3, again, just shy of 18-month program. Day release, English and Maths, and the level 3 actually contains the proper level 3 diploma in wood occupations. And again, we separate out between the site option and the architectural joinery or bench joinery option for those programs. Property maintenance, I mentioned this one earlier. Some of you might remember this or know this as multi-trades. This is a level 2 program. It will allow apprentices to touch on a little bit of everything really. So you will do some basic carpentry, some basic plumbing, tiling, painting and decorating, maybe plastering if Mark's not too worried about his centre getting messed up by the messy plaster, maybe even a little bit of brickwork. So it will cover at a basic level all kinds of stuff, and the kind of guys that would be doing this would be maybe people that would be maintaining houses as part of a housing association, or people that would be going around on a housing development who might be carrying out or completing the work on snagging lists. I can't remember, there's a more professional way of saying snagging lists, but you understand what I mean. There's sort of, the last bit of tidying up before the customer moves into the property. So we'll have a broad range of, low-level practical skills to be able to turn their hand to a bunch of different stuff. Electrical. We're not delivering this until September this year, so due to the current situation, we've had to phase bringing on staff and developing the bits of the centre ready to bring students in. So for this one, we've got the Advanced Installation Technician and Maintenance Technician, a big, massive 4-year programme. Again, day release, and will be the old level 3 electrotechnical qualification in either installation or maintenance as part of that program. So watch this space, more details to follow on the electrical program. And just to give you a little bit of a flavour, again, I won't rattle through all of these, but for those of you that know what you're looking for, these will be some of the accreditation certifications that we'll be offering as of sort of springtime, probably March onwards. We'll have some of these courses going live. In fact, some of them are on the website already. I say that some of them are on the website already. So you'll be able to register to come and either do your initial training, your reassessments for your gas, your unvented and your water regulations and your appliances. So that's those bits there. And then our future plans, so we will be delivering the 18th edition wiring regulations, again, probably from sort of next academic year, September onwards, some point. And we'll also be doing some courses that will be for the local community or for people looking to maybe break into the industry but don't want to commit to something as substantial as an apprenticeship. So woodworking, plumbing, plastering for beginners, and then some level 1 awards in construction skills, so carpentry, joinery and plumbing. So in terms of what's coming next, we'll be planning to open in February 2021 in some shape or form, whatever's allowed by the government at the time. We're recruiting apprentices and employers now, so if you're listening and you're an apprentice or you're an employer, then please talk to us. you can get in touch with us either at the email below, apprenticeships@abingdon-witney.ac.uk, or call 07917 721 216 just to find out a little bit more. As I said, we've got some courses online now for training courses that are starting in March, so you can book through the website. And it's worth mentioning as well, I think it's a lot more common in the trades that people tend to find their own apprentice and then bring them to college and say, I've got this young lad or young girl, or not so young sometimes, that I want to put on an apprenticeship. But if you don't have someone, or you're thinking, I can't find anyone, or no one's approached me, or I don't know where I'm going to get my apprentice from, just to let you know, we do offer full support for apprenticeship recruitment and selection. So we can run an advert on the National Apprenticeship Service website for you. We get applications in, we check through to make sure that people are eligible and able to achieve what's required as part of the apprenticeship. And then what we'll do is we'll give you some candidates to have a look at. The decision to recruit is always 100% down to you as the employer. So we'll only be checking in terms of people's suitability and eligibility for the apprenticeship programme. And yeah, we'll make that as easy as possible, help with all the arrangements for interviews, contact all the applicants, and hopefully save you a little bit of a headache. Again, this is just to share afterwards, so if you get the slides, there are links to all of the various pages on the website where you can look at some more details about the programs, the Bicester Construction Skills Centre homepage, the different carpentry, the PMO, and the gas and plumbing, and again the links for the gas, unvented, and LPG training assessment as well available. Thank you very much. Now we will seamlessly switch over to Mark French.
Cool. Okay, well, yeah, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. It's very weird times, and certainly this is my first time trying to do something quite like this. So yeah, please bear with us, and if it isn't quite as smooth, we'll certainly be working on it for next time. Just to give you a little bit more info on the centre itself, it is or was 4 industrial units, warehouse units, which we have extensively basically knocked down and rebuilt, hence the cost, and been able to make this centre suitable for bringing in apprentices. And from my previous experience of working within apprentices, both teaching and overseeing, is learners, there is a specific need out there to sort of make sure the teaching facility is suitable for them. So hopefully you'll enjoy the virtual tour that we've got here. It is in the early stages, and it's obviously constantly evolving, so please look out for future links to sort of see the progress and updates. At the moment it looks a little bit droll at the moment, and a little bit grey, unfortunately. This was 2 weeks ago, but this is the entrance, so we'll enter. Hopefully this works. And here we have our reception area, which all looks nice and shiny and very white and very clinical at the moment. I can assure you that will change very quickly, and those that know about construction knows that it's been built so we can clean quite easily. So as we've got plumbing and gas fitting here, we'll start here. And we'll just enter into this workshop. So as you can see here, we've got quite a large space. So over on this side, just to give you a bit more information here, this is what we're calling our plumbing section. So this is the wet area, as we'd call it. So this is where we'll be doing certainly the technician route, where they're starting off as new apprentices, new to plumbing, and they're sort of working on the wet side. So they're first fix, second fix into bathrooms, cloakrooms, and that kind of thing, basic pipe fitting. This is the space that they'll be using, and these rather large bays that we've got here will be perfectly suited for those kinds of installations and assessments. So around over here we have the gas fitting area. So this is where all our gas training area will be. This is where At the moment, it has changed actually quite a lot already. We've suddenly now got a lot of cookers already installed and fireplaces and boilers sort of starting to get hung on the wall and fitted out. So obviously, please look out in the next couple of weeks and for the updates as they come. But this is where, when both any learners or already qualified people want to come along and do their reassessments, this is the sort of space that they'll be using initially for their training. But also our apprentices. Notice here that we've brought the classroom into the workshop. Something, as you'll see, the common theme throughout the centre is that we really wanted to bring the theory into the practical. For me, in the past, I've worked in areas where we've sort of like gone to a classroom and tried to sort of deliver theory to students, and then 2 hours later, when you go to the practical environment, you're then trying to sort of relive that theory. So here, the idea is that we can sort of do that at any point. So if we're delivering some kind of theory on a particular boiler or kind of system, we can literally jump up off out of the chairs and move to a particular area to sort of really show that in live, which I think is a real strength and a good key point. You'll notice this area over here. So as Ed mentioned earlier, that we've sort of partnered up with Worcester Bosch, and they've kindly sort of supplied us with a lot of their new boilers and some of their existing boilers that they've got out on site at the moment, and that will assist both our apprentices in terms of being able to work on them and work on the same sort of boilers that they may be installing on site or sort of repairing. But what also Worcester will be doing is offering local tradesmen opportunities in terms of people to come in that are working there that don't necessarily have apprentices, but they can come in, approved installers, and they can come in and get updates and retraining a couple of times a month from Worcester themselves, who will be here to deliver. This wall here is literally going to be full of Worcester's all of their new equipment, controls, etc., and that should have been done by now, but obviously due to lockdown, it's been a bit difficult. Moving over here and just turning in reverse. So here we will have some unvented training bays, and to the left there, which you can't see, there will be some assessment areas as well for the apprentices themselves that will do some installation work. We do have a bay that does have a few bits that we've started to install, so we can see there we've got a mixture throughout the centre. Anyone that's been involved in gas, or if any gas employers out there, you'll know that you don't just install all new boilers and new fireplaces. You need to go out there and repair as well. So we've had to do a lot of hunting around, finding a mixture of different resources, utilising eBay and friends and employers who have been taking out certain pieces of equipment. So there is a wide range of equipment for the learners to work on. In here, in this space through this door, this is actually the Gas ACS Centre. So this is the assessment centre, which doesn't look that great right now because at the moment it is empty. We're currently working with the awarding organisation, Blue Flame and Gas Safe, to start that installation, but part of that is that they have to be there from the beginning and give us the advice and guidance in terms of how we should and want to set that up. Once this is done, you probably won't be able to see it because anyone who knows that once that assessment centre is up and running, it's then only open to those actually coming in to do their assessments. But I think you can get a bit of a flavour of what it's going to look like and what it's about. So that's plumbing and gas. We'll come straight back. So it's just some boring stuff here. We've got some staff offices here on that side and a meeting room. But down here, this is our breakout area. So it's a space which we will have some vending machines around at the back there. We've got a TV on the wall, and we've got a space where we'll have kettle and those kinds of things. We're not going to have a canteen on site. It will be where students, apprentices and staff, this is up all of our areas. So we really are going to try and treat everyone like adults and with respect. We're all going to sort of use the same space. There's a fridge and a dishwasher, so we're all going to sort of be breaking out here. I'm sure we don't need to go and see the toilets, but they are lovely, I can assure you. In too much. Hopefully none of you get travel sick. This is just a standard classroom. So we have got the ability to have separate theory sessions outside of the workshops as well. Majority of this room will probably be used for some of the English and maths or some sort of designated theory, maybe some exams as well. But nice new smart boards. It does look a little bit bland at the moment. Again, we're trying to get the most of the equipment in at the moment, and then we can do some of the fancy stuff with the nice posters and learning materials. So moving through the area and coming through to what we call Unit 4. This is a mixture of electrical and property maintenance. Now, as most people call this is the swimming pool area. At the moment, that's pretty free. As Ed mentioned earlier, we're not doing too much with electrical at the moment. We have started preparations, so we've built the bays, but at the moment, that's all we've done for now. We're concentrating on the plumbing and carpentry, and we will be revisiting this very soon. We do have a separate IT facility here. Another very large space, again, another sort of multi-purpose. We can use this for sort of theory sessions, self-study, multi-use. So moving through, we also for those learners that sort of another sort of breakout space where people can come along, and if they've sort of got a bit of time, they can use these PCs just to sort of like answer some emails, or maybe just sort of do some portfolio work. But they're always and this is just a view there of some of the electrical bays that we'll be in. I mean, we will have workbenches here, and there will be other facilities and stuff being installed as we move forward. So moving on into our carpentry and joinery area. So again, it's quite barren at the moment. It doesn't look like that now, I can assure you. We've done quite a lot of work in the last 10 days. This is predominantly workbenches. This is where our site carpentry learners will be. So learning to do their joints and putting their frames together. We have this blue space here, which will be a bit of a multi-use. So this again, where property maintenance will use some of this for some of the wet trades that Ed mentioned earlier. So where they might have to do a little bit of plastering, a bit of tiling and things like that. Just to turn around here, we do have a bit of space here, again, marked out in blue, which will be for the joinery. But as you'll see now, as we go through the door into our machine shop. So this was literally fitted only 2 weeks ago by Axminster. So this is full of lots of, for those of you that use it, nice equipment for both the level 2 and level 3 joinery. So looking a bit more like a proper workspace. So hopefully that's give you a bit of an idea of the sort of space in the area, and obviously we would love to sort of, you know, really sort of show it off in person, but that's not been possible. So we've been able to just put this together to sort of give you that sort of general idea. But hopefully when lockdown ends and we can start to sort of bring people in, we will do. And I'm sure and hope that you'll be as impressed and as happy as I am to sort of be, you know, working in such a space. That's it from me for the tour. So I will stop sharing this, and I believe we've got some questions.
Yeah. Somebody's asked about public transport links to the Vista Centre.
Yeah, so there's great links. So there's 2 train stations in Vista, one from Central Oxford to get to there, and that's about a 5 or 10 minute walk from where we are here. And there's also really excellent bus links as well. Again, most of them tend to go into Oxford and back out again. So some people might choose to get into Oxford and then get the train from there instead. But again, we're 10 minutes up the road from the centre of Vista, so there really is no reason why people couldn't get here on public transport.
And this is a bus route as well,
yeah,
literally
so
on Churchill Road.
Okay, thanks. And the other question is whether there are plans to offer traineeships at any point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Traineeships is something that we're literally working on right now. As Ed mentioned earlier, with Morgan Sindall, we're working quite closely with those in terms of being able to offer a high quality traineeship, to have a traineeship that's supported not only by a company that's sort of, you know, to offer those placements for people to go and have some experience on site and potential opportunities, but to have someone like Morgan Sindall who are really willing to sort of be involved in the delivery of some of the theory and some of the practical and the health and safety and the CV building is amazing. Have that. So, sorry. So, we got some sound issues. Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We do obviously construction-based traineeships. We're in the design process of that at the moment, and we're working closely with Morgan Sindall. But that's not just a closed door just for Morgan Sindall. We're also going to be working with lots of other local small SME employers as well to see if that sort of works for them in terms of being able to introduce learners and potential apprentices for those companies. And the aim of these traineeships obviously is to try and get people either onto traineeships or into future training, so maybe higher level training, or maybe just sort of gives other people an opportunity and a flavour to think, is that what they want to be doing for the future?
He's asked, does the government funding cover all ages, or is it just for school and college leavers?
There's no discrimination when it comes to apprenticeships around funding anymore. So depending on the size of the government, the government will either fund 100% or 95% of the training. So that was those figures on the slide about the funding was £22,000 and the contribution was only £1,000 or so. It does affect some of the incentives that you can apply for. So some of the incentives are related to taking on younger apprentices, probably those that are more like 16 to 18 or 16 to 24. But in terms of what the employer will pay, that is the same regardless of the age of the apprentice. And what is the same from the apprentice point of view is they would never have to contribute any cost towards their training. They're just not allowed to as part of the apprenticeship scheme. Is it an employer or an apprentice who's asking a question or not?
It doesn't say who's asked it.
No problem at all. So I was going to say the only other thing to consider if you're employing an apprentice is after their first year, the age of the apprentice will just make a difference on their rate of pay. So you can pay national apprenticeship minimum wage, which is currently £4.15 an hour, going up to £4.30 an hour in April. So you can pay that lower wage in the first year, but in the second year, then it has to be in line with minimum wage for their age bracket. So obviously then there's quite a big difference between the national minimum wage for a 16-year-old and someone who's over the age of 25. So those are the only kind of considerations relating to age group.
Someone's asked, what safeguarding measures will you have in place for young people?
Yeah, so I mean, we'll have the same, we'll abide by the same policy the rest of the college does. So although we're a separate, although we're a separate campus, we'll have the same access to staff, will have the same training, students will have the same training as everyone else in the college. So just be assured that actually we will follow the same processes and the same procedures that we would for our main campuses here at Vista.
Great, thank you. And the next question, does a student start a course without an employer, or when will they be matched with an employer and at what stage?
Absolutely. So to be an apprentice, you have to have a job first and foremost. So people wouldn't be enrolled or wouldn't start their course as an apprentice unless they're matched up to an employer. It's a little bit different from normal enrolment because actually we have to see that contract of employment's in place. We have to sign a training agreement, a commitment statement with the employer and the apprentice. So we would try to do that before any of the course starts, before any of the start dates. So yeah, we'll make sure that everyone knows exactly what's going on, but that has to happen first.
Right, okay, so I think the next couple of questions are similar really. Somebody said, so do students apply to you as an apprentice, and it depends on whether they are matched to an employer if they get taken on?
Yeah, you can do both things. So we will run live adverts for employers. So on the Find Apprenticeship Training website, on our website, we will list all our current apprenticeship vacancies and people can apply through that. We'll receive those applications, we'll vet and check the applications and meet and interview the potential apprentices, but ultimately the employers will decide who they want to employ. Alternatively, people can approach employers directly themselves. So again, in construction, it's a little bit more common that tradespeople and employers will find their own apprentices. So there's no problem at all with people approaching someone that they know locally or a company that they've seen or anything like that. People can find their own employers as well as use our help.
Great, thank you. And just a question that, well, it's more of a comment really that someone asked me to share. Sean Britton from CITB just said, thanks very much for the virtual tour. This is going to be such an asset for Oxfordshire and all employers and future apprentices. I look forward to supporting industry and working with you. So Sean.
Thank you. And Sean, if you're still there.
Lovely. Great. Well, thank you both very much. That's all the questions for now. So if anybody does have any further questions, then they can contact us through the website on the apprenticeship email address. So thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and thanks very much, Ed and Mark.